Continuation of the text about why some people don't like receiving compliments, deep and original expansion. 6. The but trap. When praise becomes a double-edged sword. There's a subtle detail that few people notice. Many people who reject compliments don't have a problem with the recognition itself, but with what comes after. It's as if, deep down, they hear, "You're amazing, but what now?" And this invisible but paralyzes them. Imagine a child who, after receiving a congratulations, "You're great at math," hears from his parents, "Now you always have to be at the top of the class." The compliment, which should be a gift, becomes an unwritten contract. Over time, the brain associates recognition with pressure, and the automatic response becomes, "If I accept this, I will have to respond. Better to refuse." This mechanism is so common that it even has a name in psychology: inflated expectation effect. Studies show that people with high self-demand often dismiss compliments as a way of protecting their self-image. After all, if you consider yourself average and someone says you are exceptional, two things can happen. 1. You internalize the pressure, "Now I always have to be exceptional." 2. You distrust sincerity, "This person doesn't really know me." The result? A forced smile and it was nothing, not out of modesty, but out of self-preservation. 7. The paradox of silent praise, when the most powerful recognition is what is left unspoken. Here's an uncomfortable truth: the people who most reject verbal compliments are often the ones who most value nonverbal forms of recognition. A look of pride from a mentor. A respectful silence after a brilliant presentation. A concrete action, like someone entrusting you with an important responsibility. To them, words sound empty because they have been conditioned to distrust them. But gestures do not lie. This explains why many introverted geniuses, artists, and leaders prefer work to exposure. They don't want to hear that they are good, they want to prove to themselves, through results, that they are. Praise, in this case, is almost a distraction from what really matters: the work, not the applause. 8. The fraud syndrome, when praise sounds like an accusation. Have you ever heard of imposter syndrome? That feeling that no matter what you achieve, it's only a matter of time before everyone finds out that you don't deserve to be there. For those who suffer from this, a compliment is not a compliment, it's a time bomb. If they think I'm good, it's because they don't see my flaws. And when they do, in these cases, the rejection of praise is not about modesty, but about terror. Terror that, by accepting recognition, you are taking on a role that you cannot sustain. Real example. One successful female executive, after receiving an award, said privately, "They're going to find out that I don't know half of what they think." The public praise, instead of filling his ego, fueled his panic. How does this manifest itself in everyday life? Minimize achievements, "It was luck," / anyone would do the same. Attributing success to others, "My teams are the good ones." Avoid high-profile situations, refuse promotions, do not post achievements on social networks. The irony: the more they escape recognition, the more people insist on praising them, which only increases the spiral of anxiety. 9. Praise as a mirror, the fear of seeing your own image reflected. Here's a little discussed theory. Some people reject compliments because they're afraid of what they'll see when they accept it. Think of it this way: when someone says you're generous, your mind might translate that as, "Am I really generous? Or am I just doing this to be praised?" This question isn't about humility, it's about authenticity. If the compliment doesn't match the self-image, the person feels like an instant fraud. Quick test: do it mentally. Someone compliments you for something. Duality. Your first reaction is A. It's true, that's just how I am. Acceptance. B. Really? I don't think I deserve it. Distrust. C. If they knew X about me, they wouldn't say that. Self-sabotage. If you checked B or C, you've probably experienced this. Praise becomes a test, and many people fail themselves before they even accept it. 10. The art of receiving, how to turn discomfort into fuel. If you've identified yourself this far, you may be wondering, but how do I change that? How do I accept a compliment without feeling like an imposter? The answer is not to force a fake thank you, but to reprogram what the compliment means to you. Some practical steps. 1. Replace the but with and. Before, you're great at this, but you could improve on X. Then, you're great at this, and you still have room to grow. Y. The but invalidates, the E expands. 2. Ask yourself, is this about me or about the person giving the compliment? We often reject compliments because we project our insecurities onto the intentions of others. Example. Someone says, "You are very smart." You think, he's just saying that to manipulate me. Reality, 90% of the time, it's just a sincere compliment. Allow yourself to believe this. 3. Write down the compliments, yes, literally. Create a recognition diary and write down one compliment you received each day, even if it's small. In 30 days, you will notice 2 patterns. 1. The same qualities are repeated. This is not a coincidence, it is evidence. 2. You start to internalize them. The brain starts to accept, maybe I really am like this. 4. Turn praise into action. Instead of saying it was nothing, respond, "Thank you. This motivates me to concrete action." Example. Thank you. I will use this to further improve my next project. Why? You redirect the energy from the praise into something productive, avoiding paralysis. 5. Practice praise yourself. Before going to sleep, say out loud, "Today, I am proud of specific action." Example. Today, I am proud of having helped my colleague without expecting anything in return. Effect. You retrain your brain to accept recognition without depending on others. 11. The secret no one tells you, compliments are not about you, and that's freeing. Here's the key twist that few understand. A compliment is not a judgment on you. It is a reflection of how your action impacted someone. When you reject a compliment, you are saying, "Your experience is not valid. You have no right to feel good because of what I did." It seems harsh, but it's true. Accepting a compliment isn't narcissism, it's generosity. It's allowing others to celebrate the joy you gave them. Practical example. Someone says, "Your talk changed my life." If you respond, "Oh," don't exaggerate, you are minimizing her experience. If you answer, "I'm glad to know it helped you," you are validating the impact. This is not about your ego. It's about human connection. 12. When silence is the greatest form of acceptance. There is an advanced level to this process, learning to receive compliments without responding. It's not rude. It's emotional maturity. Imagine someone complimenting you and instead of, "No, no," rejection, "Thanks," automatic response. You simply smile. Make eye contact. Let the praise hang in the air, like a song that doesn't need applause. Why? Because you don't need to justify your existence. Praise exists, you hear it, and that is enough. This is the stage where you understand. I don't need to prove I deserve this. I just am. 13. The compliment you never received, but deserves to hear now. If you've read this far, you've probably experienced the feeling of not feeling up to the praise you've received. So, let me tell you something that perhaps no one has told you this clearly. You are not ungrateful for not knowing how to receive compliments. You are human. And being human includes having fears that don't make sense to others. Being suspicious of good things because the brain, was trained to expect the worst. Wanting to be seen for who you are, not for what others think you are. But here's the truth that few people will tell you. The compliments you reject are often clues to what you most need to hear. When someone says you are brave, it is not an accident. It's because, at some point, you were. When they say you are kind, it is because someone has felt your kindness. What if you have difficulty accepting this? It is not a defect. It's just a part of you that hasn't yet learned to trust your own brilliance. 14. The final invitation, an experiment for the next 7 days. If you want to transform your relationship with compliments, do this challenge. For 1 week, every time you receive a compliment. 1. Don't deny it. No, oh, no. 2. Don't justify. Without it was by accident. 3. Just say, "Thank you." And stop there. At first, it will seem strange, even fake. But over time, you will realize 2 things. 1. The world doesn't fall apart if you accept a compliment. 2. You start to believe that maybe those compliments aren't a lie. 15. Food for thought, the question that will change your perspective. Before closing, I leave a question for you to answer mentally. If my best friend had the same difficulty receiving compliments as I do, what would I say to him? Now, say that to yourself. 16. What to do now? CTA with purpose. If this text resonated with you. 1. Comment below, which compliment do you have the most difficulty accepting? X. You are smart, you are beautiful, etc. 2. Share with someone who needs to hear this today. Maybe that person was you 5 years ago. 3. Save this text and reread it whenever you find yourself disqualifying a compliment. Because recognizing your own worth is not arrogance. It's justice. Until the next reflection. And remember, you are not what others praise. You are what you choose to believe. Yellow heart. 17. The compliment you've never heard and need to tell yourself. There is a type of praise that almost no one receives, not because it is undeserving, but because no one dares to say it. It's not about looks, success, or talent. It's about what you overcame without anyone noticing. Think, how many times have you stood up when you could have given up? How many nights turned into dawns rebuilding what the world didn't see break? How many times have you chosen to be kind to yourself on a day that only asked you to hate yourself? These are the invisible compliments. They don't come with applause, nor with likes, nor with a congratulations in the family group. They are silent, like the root of a tree that supports the trunk without anyone seeing its work. Experiment for today. 1. Take a piece of paper, or open your cell phone notes. 2. Write, I praise myself for, and complete with 3 things you've done or put up with in the last 12 months that no one but you knows the weight of. X. I praise myself for having cried when I needed to, even though I thought crying was weakness. I praise myself for saying no in that situation, even though I was shaking with fear. I praise myself for still being here, even when everything asked me to disappear. 3. Keep that paper. Rereading it a year from now will be like opening a time capsule of your own courage. 18. The but. Trap, and how to get out of it. Have you ever noticed how we accept compliments with a but? You're great at what you do, but you could be better. I loved your work, but so-and-so does the same thing. You're pretty, but if you lost weight, you'd be perfect. This but is sabotage disguised as humility. It turns a compliment into a to-do list and makes us believe we only deserve conditional love. The inconvenient truth. No one says that flower is beautiful, but the petals could be more symmetrical, or that sunset is amazing, but the sky could be blue. Nature does not ask for permission to be admired. Why do you ask? 7-day challenge. Every time someone compliments you, or you yourself, ban the but from the response. Say. The thought comes, replace it with an and. I'm good at this and I'm still learning. Instead of I'm good, but I could be better. My body is strong and deserves respect. Instead of I'm pretty, but I need to lose weight. Side effect, you'll start to notice that the world doesn't fall apart when you allow yourself to be enough. 19. The compliment that hurts, and why you need to hear it. There are compliments that hurt more than insults. Not because they are false, but because they touch on what we most deny in ourselves. You're so sensitive. Internal translation, I am weak. You are very intense. Translation, I'm too much. I'm a problem. You have a huge heart. Translation, they're going to hurt me again. These compliments hurt because they confirm what you fear most to be true. They mirror what you learned to hide to protect yourself. But what if those characteristics you hate are precisely your superpowers? Sensitivity is what makes you connect deeply with people. Intensity is what makes you live with passion, not half-heartedly. A huge heart is what makes you love in a way that few understand, but that changes lives. Exercise of courage. 1. Think of a compliment that has ever made you uncomfortable. 2. Write, if this were a gift rather than a weakness, how would my life be different? 3. Act like it's true for a week. X. If you've been told you're too much, allow yourself to take up space without apologizing. 20. The last question, the one you never asked yourself. If you could receive one compliment from yourself 10 years ago, what would it be? Not the praise you think you deserve to hear. The praise you needed to hear to not give up, to forgive yourself, to move forward. Maybe it was. You've endured things no one should have to endure. And yet, here you are. Your broken heart didn't make you bitter. That's very rare. You made a mistake, yes. But making mistakes didn't define you. Your courage did. Now, do this. 1. Close your eyes. 2. Imagine you at 15, 20, or 25 years old, the you who needed a hug the most. 3. Say out loud the compliment she deserved to hear. Cry if you need to. It's allowed. Because the person who needs your praise most is you. 21. To close, the invitation. If this text touched you in some way, don't keep it to yourself. Share with someone who. Look away when people praise you. He laughs awkwardly and changes the subject. You think you deserve less than you receive. Or keep it to yourself and reread it whenever you find yourself diminishing your own achievements. Because recognizing your value is not selfish. It's justice. And the world already has too many people feeling indebted to themselves. Don't be one more. 22. The phrase that stays. You are not what others praise. You are not what others criticize. You are what you choose to believe. And today, choose to believe in yourself. Yellow heart until the next reflection. And remember, the most important compliment is the one you haven't given yourself yet. What if I told you that the compliment you most need to hear is not the one that comes from outside, but the one you haven't yet had the courage to say to yourself? 23. The silence that screams. There is a type of person who never asks for help, but carries the world on their shoulders as if it were their exclusive burden. Who smiles and says it's okay while inside he repeats, if I stop, everything will fall apart. Who turns his own pain into a routine, as if suffering in silence were a badge of honor. You were once that person. Maybe it still is. And the worst part is not the pain. It's the lie we tell ourselves. I don't need anything. I can handle it. It's not that bad. But it is. And it's okay to admit that. Because strength is not in keeping quiet. The strength is recognizing that you can and should be welcomed too. 24. The self-reliance trap. Society glorifies those who don't work. Who solve everything themselves. Who doesn't bother. Until one day you wake up and realize. You've become so good at surviving. Who forgot what it's like to live. You cancel your own desires because it's not a priority. You put off resting because I'll rest later. Spoiler, later never comes. You minimize your achievements because it could be better. And so, without realizing it, you betrayed yourself. It wasn't the world that abandoned you. It was you who abandoned yourself first. 25. The compliment you never gave yourself. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself at 12 years old, with that dream that seems silly today, but at the time it was everything. Imagine yourself at 18, afraid of not being enough. Imagine yourself yesterday, exhausted but still pushing yourself. Now, say out loud what no one ever told you, or what you never let anyone say. You did the best you could with what you had. Your scars are not flaws, they are proof that you survived. You deserve rest. You deserve love. You deserve to be your own priority. Cry if you need to. Scream if you need to. But most of all, believe. 26. The invitation you always ignored. If this text hurt, it's because it touched something true. If you took a deep breath, it's because some part of you recognized, this is me. Don't keep it to yourself. Share with that friend who is always fine, but you know he isn't. That family member who carries everything alone and refuses help as if it were an insult. That colleague who laughs at his own mistakes, but you see the tiredness in his eyes. Or keep it to yourself and read it whenever. You blame yourself for not being perfect. You compare yourself to those who seem to have their life figured out. Spoiler, no one does. You forget that you deserve kindness, especially your own. 27. The truth no one tells you. You are not weak because you need help. You are not selfish for wanting to be happy. It's not dramatic about feeling pain. You are human. And being human means allowing yourself to be fragile, to be confused, to be imperfect. The world already has too many people punishing themselves for existing. Too many people cowering so as not to disturb. Too many people waiting for permission to take up space. Today, I give you this permission. Occupy. Breathe. Exist without apologies. 28. The phrase that stays. You're not the one who endured it. You are not what you have overcome. You are not what others expect you to be. You are what you choose to be from now on. And today, choose to be kind to yourself. Yellow heart until the next reflection. And remember, the hug you need most may be in your own arms.